I'm going to go ahead and say welcome to everybody to today's event. We are here for Evolve Lab Toolset for the Chaos Ecosystem. I am Kelsey Kolbenschlag, Sales Operations Manager at ArcVision. I'm joined today with Debbie Folk, Account Manager at ArcVision, and Josh Radol, Application Engineer at Chaos. Josh is at Chaos, he provides technical support and training. Previously, Josh worked as Senior Product Manager at a Autodesk reseller, where he led the company's AEC visualization training and consulting efforts. He is going to give us, like I said, a good overview of all of the Evolve Lab products today, with an emphasis on Verus and all of the exciting AI technology behind that. Reminders for today: as you join, please put questions in the chat. We will get to them at the end during live Q&A, and I will turn it over to Josh.
Perfect. All right. Well, hey, everybody. Thanks for joining us today. Thank you for the introduction, Kelsey. Really appreciate it. So what we're going to be talking about today, like Kelsey said, is the Evolve Labs tool set and how it kind of fits into the Chaos ecosystem here. So the first one we'll look at is Verus Web, and then we'll look at Verus inside of Enscape, and then we'll look at a brand new feature that just dropped last week when we're at AU, Verus Video. So this is a really cool feature. And then we'll check out Helix, and then Morphus, and then Glyph, and then we'll talk about some of the learning resources we have available for these different tool sets as well, and then we'll open up for Q&A. All right, without that, let's jump right on in. So again, the tools that we'll be looking at today, we'll be looking at, again, Verus. That's going to be really good for the AI rendering. So for, early stage design, conceptual, ideation phase, and then you can even use Verus for more or less final presentation, more polishing type effects as well. And then we'll look at Helix, where you can use that for interoperability, transitioning models from SketchUp to Revit, Revit to SketchUp, Rhino to SketchUp, even AutoCAD into Revit. And then Morphus, we can look at for the generative design and design development phase as well, and then Glyph for construction documentation. So, all right, let's jump right into the first one, Verus. So, like I said, we'll look at Verus for the web. So, what is Verus? So, for those that are not familiar with Verus, Verus is our AI visualization tool that uses your sketches, photos for reference images, and it will create basically renderings for you very, very fast. So what you can use for the early stage ideation phase, the conceptual phase, and all the while to give your clients feedback on what this design could potentially look like. One really cool use case is the ability to upload. So with Verus Web, you have the ability to upload images. So this was a really cool example that we put together where you can use a hand sketch. So a lot of times when we're talking about the concept and ideation phase, how are you come up with an idea of what a building could look like? More often than not, people are hand sketching or going to Pinterest and grabbing images, reference images, making mood boards, things like that, or making big boards that have a bunch of different images, and then kind of mashing that all together in Photoshop or another image authoring tool like that to generate a concept to show the clients of what a space could look like. So with Verus, what you can do is, again, like I said, upload hand sketches or photos of something, and then you can use some creative prompting techniques to generate ideas of what this facade could look like. So again, you can see on the left-hand side a hand sketch of what a rough idea of the facade would look like. We wanted it to be like this red finned facade. So we did some creative prompting and we got some really nice results out of it. So again, this is something that could be used in the very, very early stage designs. Again, when we're coming up with ideas of what a space could look like. Another fun example was I was actually working with a coworker of mine, and her relative, I believe it was her cousin or her sister, wanted to renovate their kitchen. So we had a photo of what the kitchen looks like, and then from here, use Verus to say we wanted to look more like a rustic barn style feel of a kitchen, and generated some concepts very quickly of what some new like backsplashes, new tiles, new ceiling could look like, again, what the cabinets could look like, just a couple different ideas of what, this new renovation could look like. So again, really quickly to be, and each one of these, all three of these generated in maybe 20 seconds, if that. So again, really, really cool to get some ideas of what, something the design could be to give you guys a good starting point. Another really cool option that one of our teammates did was take a hand sketch and then use the selection tool inside of VAERS. And again, using some prompting creative wording, we can see we want the geometry override to be turned up, material override to be turned up, and the prompt strength to be adjusted. And then we can hit render selection. What that's going to do is, again, generate a couple concepts for us, all based off of a hand sketch. So that's where VAERS becomes very powerful to be able to start, again, generating ideas for how we want to design to, which way we would like to design to move forward with. VAERS also comes with a couple different presets that you can utilize to start generating ideas with. So we can see the first one up is a hand sketch again. And we can see we went to a watercolor mode and a couple other ones, just again, a couple different styles. So all on the right hand side are the different presets that come with VAERS. And you can also save these presets as well. If you customize them and you get a version that you really like, you can further customize them and save them up inside of your My Presets. And those can be saved throughout the company as well. In addition to VAERS Web, VAERS also has standalone, not standalones, but plugins, sorry, that plug into all the different design applications we can see on the right. So Revit, SketchUp, Rhino, Autodesk Forma, Vectorworks, and ArchiCAD. So same as Enscape minus Forma, but we can see again, we're in the Rhino window, generating some different versions of that. And then on the right-hand side, VAERS is updating to what is seen inside of Rhino. Another really powerful feature of VAERS is the ability to have that same style. So basically that same look and feel throughout multiple different images and multiple different angles of that image. So unlike some of the other AI models on the market, it's really hard to replicate that same look and feel and that same style through different angles of the model. So this is where VAERS has a seed option. So we can see it generates a random number. And if you click the seed option, that's where that number will come into play. And you can rotate the model. You can have different images as well uploaded. And that same look and feel and same style will stay true throughout the different renderings. So that was VAERS Web. Now let's check out VAERS inside of Enscape. So what are some of the benefits you get with VAERS inside of Enscape? Some of the benefits you get with this are it lives inside of Enscape. So you get the high quality viewport, you get the live sync with Enscape, which is coming from your host design application, and you're going to get much more accurate results and the ability to select objects or materials to further refine those as well. So we can see VAERS uses your Enscape window as the base image to start with. So what that means is whatever you have inside your Enscape window is what you're going to start with for your main image. So we can see on the bottom right, we did a quick prompt example. So exterior shot of a utopian architecture building. And up on the top, we can see we have low geometry, medium geometry, and higher geometry override. So what those are going to do is basically change how much geometry is being overridden from the original base image inside the Enscape window. Here's an example of a much more fleshed out prompt. So award-winning parametric Veroni, concrete, timber, white highlights, warm colors, professional photography, and city lights. So we can see what that's doing again to the base image from Enscape as well. So it's, with the high geometry override, it really cranks it up and does some very interesting things with it. But again, you can prompt it to however you would like that to be. Here's an example of how it works inside of Enscape. So we can see the VAERS button. This is, again, a massing model. So just to show how quickly you can generate concept, click the VAERS button, and then from inside of there, you just, again, put the prompt that you would like, and then from there, generate a couple different ideas for you very, very quickly, again, of what this space could look like for you there. But again, it's using whatever's inside the Enscape window as the base image to further start working on. Another example of VAERS inside of Enscape, again, clicking the VAERS button. Then we can see it's got the Enscape window. It's got the Enscape image inside of it. Click a preset. So that one we're doing the modern building in fall. And then we can see a couple different presets on what it's done to that Enscape image there. So we got the watercolor one. This was a more atmospheric one. This is more of a chipboard looking model. Okay. One of the other benefits is, like I said, being able to select objects or materials inside of Veris, inside of Enscape, being able to further refine individual parts of the model as well. So that's where, again, you can, like we're saying, we can select the floor, we can change just the floor that we would like. So we're, switching that over to polished concrete. We switch those chairs from red to blue. And again, just further refining the image based off of the selection and that information that we're getting from inside of Enscape, which ultimately is coming from the host design application as well. And then we can see each render takes, roughly about 20 seconds or so to further generate. And you can see down the bottom all the different versions that we have as well. So you can even save those, you can delete those, and you can also keep refining past images as well. All right. So with one of the new features that just came out, like I said, last week is, at the time of this recording was last week at AU, is Veris Video. So this is a very, very cool one for us. We had a lot of really good reactions to it. So happy to showcase this to you guys. So what if you could take a still image, still rendering, and you could animate it, do a bunch of crazy stuff with it, all from within inside of a still image or from inside of Enscape. So this was just a simple still image that was rendered out, and you can tell the prompt to have a wood backsplash sliding in, or a wood wall basically sliding in. You can tell it behind the TV, and then you can tell the camera to be rotating as well with a sun study change. Again, this was all from one still image. So this is where it becomes a very powerful tool at this point. Check out a couple other examples. You can also do different styles as well. So again, this was all from a still image. So we can do some really nice, interesting effects. This was, again, a still rendering from Enscape. This woman is not real. She did not come from the Cosmos library, the Enscape asset library. The prompt was woman walking into the living room and holding a piece of paper, reading a piece of paper. And we can see what that did for us. So again, and it was a simple 5-second clip, but again, very powerful to be able to add some extra little realism to your images. All the while we were at AU, we were having some fun with it. One of our team members took a picture. So this is not moving, and he animated Lego people, or he told the prompt to have Lego people walking in. So again, this was just from a still image. This was walking into Autodesk University, and Lego people were moving in. It also animated the TV. That screen was not animated at all. It was just a still image. And we had some more fun too, where he animated the minions coming in. So again, we're having some fun with it. You can really have a lot of creative fun with Veris Video. But again, none of these people were moving. This was all a still image as well. All right, now let's jump in and I'll show you guys a couple examples as well. So here we are inside of Enscape. So it's got the main image, and then all I did was launch the Veris button. And again, it used my main image as the base to start with, and all I did was select a preset that I wanted, and then from there it generated a couple different variations for me. You can even generate styles based off of specific architectures or architects. So this is in the style of Zaha Hadid. And we can see if we go to the compose feature, what the prompt is doing. So white building, Zaha Hadid, high quality exterior photography. Whereas this one was award-winning rendering of modern parametric building, golden hour, city background, autumn colorful leaves. So we can see what that prompt is doing for us, all based off of, here we have my floating and flight meeting controls. There we go. So we can see that image right here goes inside of here. We can also see the original image and what that did to us, or what that did to the image. And under the edit tab, again, that's where you get the options to select by material or object as well. So I can select by objects and further refine those. And then inside of the video, this is where, again, you can prompt the video to whatever you would like it to do. So here was a couple ones that I previously did just to try out some things. Again, this was just based off the still image. So remember, Enscape doesn't do animation, but we can make it do animation with Veris Video. So again, these cars were just in a still image. So it goes and fully animates those. This was light turns to dark and interior lights turn on. Same with this one as well. This was a different variation of what it gave us. Another fun example that we did was you can tell people to slowly walk into a scene and sit down on the couch, which is very cool because the characters will actually, look at the landscape assets and respect that and sit on them. So a lot of really cool functionality that you can do with this, to really kind of further fine tune and really make these images more engaging. This was a fun one. Again, it's almost limitless possibilities. I wanted the building to explode into another building. So a really cool transition. This was an example of a kitchen transforming into another kitchen with red painted cabinets, subway backsplash tile, so we can see what it's doing. Again, all from a still image. A couple different examples that it gave me here. I wanted to try and see if we could get some assets to start dropping in. Again, these assets are not coming from the Cosmos library, the Enscape asset library. These were all generated by Ferris Video. So it gives you a really nice, cool drop-in effect as well. And then again, sticking with a couple of the characters walking in. These ones that had some chairs dropping in. Again, with more characters walking in, they'll actually go in and respect the Enscape assets. Again, that's another benefit of all this is having that information tied in there. Again, there's more models being built up inside of, again, the still image, cars being animated in the background too. Simple transition of a facade change. Again, vehicles are completely still inside of Enscape, but being fully animated in Varus. This was a modern building morphing into another building with a metal facade. So again, possibilities are limitless, and you can tell the camera exactly what you want it to do. I told the camera to slowly zoom in. You can even animate hand sketches. So again, this was that same hand sketch that we were looking at initially. Starts animating some people walking around. If I wanted to, I could have it, the camera do like a nice subtle zoom in. But again, possibilities are endless with this. The only limit is your imagination. Simple, again, material change, all from a still image. This was an Enscape rendering out of SketchUp. Again, a couple more examples of this. But again, the possibilities are virtually endless. And we can see the prompt here: modern kitchen, marble countertops, transitioning into subway tile countertops, cabinets, some assets being dropped on the counter, having some fun with 2D floor plans as well being built up. So again, all for concepts and ideation phase. You can even use this for final polishing as well. All right. With that, that is Varus. We can definitely set up another one if we want to dive deeper into Varus at all. We do have a prompting guide that is on our website that we can look at as well. We can be sure to get to you guys. Let's jump in and check out what we have next. All right. So the next tool up is a tool called Helix. So this is going to be really good for the interoperability. So Helix is a tool that will convert models between SketchUp, AutoCAD, Rhino, and Revit. So it's basically going to make sure the geometry is flowing between all the different design programs without losing any ability to communicate on the design. So like I said, the problem, trying to go from SketchUp into Revit or Revit into SketchUp, again, trying to connect those programs and have the translation between the geometry between those different programs is really very, very hard to do and very time consuming. But this is where Helix really comes into play. So we're looking at SketchUp on the left-hand side and Revit on the right-hand side. So with Varus, what you're going to do is pull up the Helix window, and then from there you can select all the different SketchUp components you have in there, all the SketchUp groups, and then you can assign those to Revit families, different Revit types as well. So we can see some of the components come in as a Revit wall category or wall family. You can specify which family you want that to be brought in as. Same with components, anything like that. Those components can be turned into, again, Revit families, anything like that. So it's a little setup on the front end, but then again, all that geometry is going to come across inside of Revit in correct categories with the same native Revit geometry that you associated with it. So again, map native Revit geometry from SketchUp. So we can see what that's doing there. Again, little manual setup on the front end, but once all that is set up, it's a nice seamless transition to be able to send that geometry over to Revit and continue working as well. So again, you can set components. I think this one has a component for a railing. You can tell that to become a railing type Revit or a railing family inside of Revit. So again, ensuring that geometry comes across and is workable. Another example of the live modeling. So you can turn on live sync, so then you can see changes happening instantaneously. So we can see these walls are generic 6-inch walls. And anytime there's an update, it'll be updating inside of Revit for you. You just hit sync with SketchUp. And again, all those changes will be taken into account inside of Revit for you. And vice versa as well. We can see here, you can create, read, update, and delete geometry as well. So we can see the geometry is being updated in Revit in real time there. And again, anytime we make a change, just hit load the model. And it's going to go back and reload that model, look for those new changes as well. Materials will also come across as well. So we can see we have materials that were from SketchUp that are being synced inside of Revit. So all that comes across. Again, you just have to set it up accordingly. And again, all of that will come across. Another really cool thing is to be able to bring shapes and DXF support. So a lot of times trying to model something in Revit might be a little time consuming to do. So if you could find a piece of geometry or piece of, say, furniture inside of a different program, like say in this case, like a SketchUp warehouse, or you model it inside of a different program like Rhino or SketchUp, you can bring that across and tell that to become a Revit family or a Revit component. So, or a Revit, model in place family, however you set it up. But all that geometry and all that material will come across to Revit. You can also go from Revit to SketchUp as well. So you can tell certain Revit, or so you can, again, like we looked at the mapping system, you can tell all that, you can tell a Revit family to go across and be that type of component, again, or that type of group. Again, ensuring a nice seamless transition between the different design applications. Another really big one is going from AutoCAD to Revit. So again, what you're going to do is you're going to find the center line, and then you can tell that to become a certain type of wall that you would like that to be. You have your company standards as well. You can dictate what that is going to become. So we can see that a wall is going to become the wall category and then the different family type with a certain width and height. And again, all that geometry will be built up inside of Revit for you in there. And it's always fun watching it be built up too. So we can see on the right-hand side that geometry is being built up as it's going and building the model. All right, so that was Helix. The next two we're going to look at is called Morphus. So this is our cool generative design tool. So it's a generative design application for Revit. It facilitates real-time responsive design solutions, allowing seamless co-authoring and integration with the Revit environment here. So this is going to be really cool for space planning. So we can see here we have a space, and then we started up Morphus, and then from here we can start laying out different arrangements. So we can see we're setting up a single office, conference room, two different types of conference rooms, open seating arrangement as well, and then you can draw out the path, and then you can generate all of that into the different Revit components that you would like that to be. So each one of those little squares can become a Revit component or a Revit family of your choosing. So this is where it becomes a really good way to start laying out layouts and for space planning in real time for you there. Another really cool thing that Morphus can be used for is interior design. So you can generate different carpet patterns for you. So we can see we're just adjusting some of the sliders. Again, all these modules are completely customizable. You can build your own modules as well. But again, all of this is completely customizable to however you guys want. Multiple different use cases. So we're just showing you a couple different use cases today. The next one is for seating layout. So this is where we can lay out a whole auditorium seating layout as well. So you set the width, you set the width for the different seating arrangements as well. You can do the different array options. So you can set the rotation. And again, all of these are customizable. So you can set up these to however different seating arrangements you would like. You can set the regions as well. Again, you can pick on the different areas which you want that to be locked to. You can also use for layout templates. So this is where we have a couple of different templates set up for you. Again, you can also create your own different layouts as well. So you can start setting up company standards that you would like. You get a couple that you really like. Again, you can save those as different presets and distribute them throughout your company. You can also, like we said, you can assign, so all those little individual blocks can be associated to a Revit family. And then again, those are all scheduled correctly. Like we could see, so you can bake all that data in, and again, it'll show up in your room schedule for you there. All right, then the last tool that we will look at is called Glyph. So this is a very powerful tool. So this is a Revit plugin. It automates and standardizes multiple documentation tasks like view and sheet creation, tagging, dimensioning, sheet packing. You can also customize these into bundles as well. So you can automate all these different processes in just a single click. So one of the problems that Glyph solves is it's meant to help out with those repetitive tasks that take a lot of time on every single project. So creating plans, creating elevations, tagging and dimensioning views, creating sheets, and then placing views on the sheets. So what if we could automate all those with a couple different, or a couple clicks of a button? So again, we can see we can create views, legends, sheets, dimension views and sheets. You can import spreadsheets. Again, you tell Glyph what you would like to do, and it'll do it. So the first one up is we can automate views. So we can see we can create views by level. So we're going to click on the different floors or the different levels that we would like Glyph to automate. And we can go to the settings, and then we want, the naming scheme. We can set all that up. And then what we're going to do is simply go mark ceiling plan as well. We're going to make the structural plan as well. And then we're going to make the area plan as well. So we can see all those. We have all those set up with the convention how we want. And then we're just simply going to hit run task. And that's just going to run through its task of doing everything we've already set it up to do. So create all the views by level successfully. So we can see on the left-hand side in our Revit project, there's all the different views that it's set up, all the different levels that it's set up. You can have it create legends for you too. So again, on the right-hand side, we can see how we can set that up. So the view template, we can set that up to whichever one we would like. And then from there, we can set some different parts of that. So phase demolition, phase created. Simply hit run task, and then from there, it's going to create the legend for you. Again, all with a single click of a button. We can use it for dimensioning as well. So we can go dimension the different elevations, the different floor plans we would like, set up the windows, doors, and hit run task. And then from there, that's going to go through and run the task of going through and dimensioning all the categories that we set up. So we'll go check this out, and we can see what that's done for us. So it dimensioned all of them, all the different doors and windows. Now you can go through and automate tagging as well. You can tag views by category. So we're going to set our different views. We're going to go active view. Then from there, we just want to tag the walls. And then we click the drop down if we want. You can set the task settings or task settings. So we can set the elbow and leader positions. Again, simply just click run task, and that's going to go through and auto tag everything that we set it up to do. very minimal customization or additional work will be needed. Just maybe go and spot check it, but should get you 85, 90% of the way there. And you can also create sheets with a simple task as well. So you set up the different levels that you wanted to create sheets on. And then again, simply hit run task, and it's going to place all those different levels on sheets. There's placing views on sheets. So this is where you can actually lay out how you want the different views to be placed on the sheets as well. And this can all be set up as a bundle. So this can all be done with a single click of a button here. You can see with the different options that we have inside of the task settings. So you can do the different layouts. You can customize the layouts too as well to your company standards. All right, now bundles. So everything that we just looked at could be wrapped up into a bundle. So that's where you could have multiple different actions inside of one bundle. So if you simply hit play or run task, you can see this one's going to tag ceilings and dimension grids and 3 reflected ceiling plans. Again, all with a single click of a button. Another one that you can set up is elevate curtain walls, dimension curtain walls, tag curtain walls, or tag curtain wall panels, place elevations on sheet. Here we can see what that's. The animation's not playing. We can see all that would be set up in one single bundle there for us. So that's where, again, we can even automate those even further. So again, saving us more time. Instead of running each one individually, we could just, again, set that up as a bundle and have them all run one after another. Well, now what if we could automate all this with Copilot? So we have an AI assistant in automating your construction drawings. So for example, you could tell Copilot create views by scope box for area A, B, and C on level 1 on level 101 first floor. Oh, my animation's not playing. But this is where, if you had this view set, or if you had this task set up or this bundle set up, you could tell Copilot to go run that tag, or you could go tell Copilot to run that view or that script for you. Well, essentially that script, that bundle or that task for you. Here we go. This one's working. So this one creates sheets by rooms for rooms 101 to 125. And it's going to go create all those different sheets again for what we told it to do. And we can see here it gives you the information when it's done about what it just did. So this is how we can start using Glyph Copilot to help even facilitate and automate all these processes. Here's another one, elevate rooms 103 to 107. So we just tell Copilot to do that. And Copilot's going to go run that task for us. So with that, some of the learning resources we have available for these different tools are Chaos Academy. Chaos Academy is a very, very good one to go get in-depth information about what all these tools are doing and how they function. They also have learning videos attached to them, and they also have different, different little exercises that you can do as well. And you get little badges at the end too. That's where you can really keep your company on the same level of knowledge for all these different tools, and you can track progress as well. Chaos Docs is another really good one for more in-depth information about what each tool is doing and what each part of that tool is doing as well. We also have webinars, forums, and our blogs are really good resources as well for any information about any of the Chaos products, any of the Evolve Labs tools as well, and also the blog. All right, with that, all right, Kelsey, is there any questions?
Well, not in the chat. I had a couple though. Amazing presentation. Thank you so much, Josh.
Yeah, no problem. I want to leave a lot of time for Q&A.
Well, and anything that you think of that we didn't cover, since we have some extra time, please bring up. But so, I got high level, low level questions. So throwing it out there, you mentioned Copilot with Glyph. Is it also with
Yep.
Morpheus?
Just with couple, or just with Glyph.
Those with Glyph.
Yep.
What about the prompts with Varus? Any limitations to how long they can be?
Nope, there's no limitations. Let me look and see if I can find our documentation on prompting, because this would be a really cool one to show everybody here. Let me see. I can find the website too and send it to you guys after this if I can't find it quickly enough to be able to share that with everybody. So here's a really cool guide for prompting in Glyph, or not Glyph, too many programs in my head, prompting in Varus. So you can see example, cinematic shot, that's the medium of the artwork. So oil painting, 3D rendering, photography, cinematic shot, parametric. So in blue is the style, impressionist, surreal, gothic art. Again, this is where the only limitation is your creativity. And then you can also type in lighting and color palette. You can type in additional details such as cameras, name of rendering techniques, rendering engines as well, and resolution. And then some of the statement compositions. So instead of saying a living room with a black sofa and a brown carpet, say brown carpet, black sofa, living room. You get a much better result that way. Same with this. Refrain from doing make more glass, remove bricks, erase sky. Building with lots of glass, building with curvy wood facade, daytime rendering of a beautiful building, and clarity, timber construction. Various will think it's a building being constructed out of timber, whereas if you do a timber building, you get a much better result as well. Another really cool thing to know is putting parentheses to give a word further weight. So in this example, cinematic shot of a parametric building in the style of Zaha Hadid, comma, winter, and then parentheses, blizzard, comma, snowing, then Unreal Engine 4K. There's another one that we have, prompting glossary. And again, I'll send all these over to you guys as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can see here basically exactly what I said too. Words at the start are prompted, given more attention. Again, we can see put commas around things too. Weather, sunny, comma, overcast, blizzard, et cetera, et cetera. But again, only real limitation is your imagination. And then with video, that becomes a whole even new world of possibilities to have things be animated. We've seen a lot of people too will use like say ChatGPT to generate a prompt and then use that prompt as well inside of Varus. There's also a really cool functionality here. Let's see here. Let me get Varus back up here. Log in quick. Log out. Here we go. Log in. Just log in quick. You can also use Varus to describe the image that's looking at as well. There you go. It's going to log in. Perfect. So there's this describe button. So you can hit describe and we can see what that'll give me as well. So just take a couple seconds to do, but yeah, any more questions on Varus? I know it's
It's easy to keep talking about Varus. And then
yeah. There we go. It gave me a car driving down the street next to a tall building and a bridge over a street with cars driving. V-Ray rendering, digital rendering.
So you could take that, tweak what it describes, and then put it back in there.
Yeah, and then you can take that, throw it inside of here. And again, changing the geometry, material, override, and the prompt strength as well to really fine-tune that prompt for you. And then up in the top here are some different little presets as well. So you can use Turbo Nature. Turbo Nature is really going to make add more like nature, vegetation type things inside of the image. Cinematic and film photography are going to basically do exactly what it says, like give it a more cinematic and photography style rendering, and then atmospheric is going to give it a nice atmospheric effect. Really cool for aerial shots or for things with fog and whatnot inside there.
Well, so I guess kind of applied to all of them. Is there anything that you know of that's coming up soon? Any new updates? Anything we should be starting to get excited about that you've heard that you can share?
The Varus video was probably the biggest feature that we were all waiting to tell people about. Like this thing is, when we saw it, we're like, they're like, no way. Like we all get, and then we were all just experimenting around with it. We were working with Ben at AU, just trying a bunch of different things. We had customers coming up and trying different things too. But what this thing can do is truly amazing. So I'm personally very excited about this tool. This new feature here, it can do a lot of different things. Again, you only limit your imagination. But
And
again,
go
yeah, I
ahead.
was gonna say, you tell it what you want it to do. I mean, the fact that I can take this still image from Enscape here, it's just a still image. Like, in Enscape, nothing's animated. So the fact that it'll sit there and like animate the vehicles, the turn lights turn on, like people will be animated. Again, all from a single image, all while staying inside of Enscape and Revit or SketchUp or another tool that we support like that. Like that's pretty powerful to do.
How is there any limitations to the video length?
It's 5 seconds currently right
5 seconds. Okay.
now. So, but yeah, I'm personally very excited about this one. Just what it can do. There's so many possibilities with it. And this is just going to keep getting further enhanced too. So more additional functionality inside of this tool as well.
Debbie, any questions for Josh? That was all on my list.
I do not. That was a good presentation. I learned a lot.
Appreciate it.
Well, like I said, Josh, we do have a little bit more time. If there's anything else you can think of, like I said, I know we could probably keep. I love the visuals. I can keep watching, but
Oh, same. Yeah, like again, this is me just trying a couple different things, but again, you can tell it what you would like it to do.
Hmm.
I tried one. So this was a V-Ray rendering, just a still image of an eye,
And it blinks. Wow.
and it animated the blinking.
That's amazing.
It's truly insane. Like just a still image. I'll show you what the image was that I threw up there. I know it's not architecture, but it's also in the visualization realm. So
Oh, yeah.
this was the image that I threw in there and just told it to say blinking eye.
Hmm.
And this is what it does.
It is crazy.
Insane.
Yeah. Like, and again, the more you work and refine the prompt, you can do some amazing things with it.
Mhm. And this is available with just any version of Eris?
Yep. And again, like with this was just a modern building morphing into another modern building with metal facade. Camera slow zooms in.
So you had the presets for some of you could do presets for your videos you showed.
There are some presets, yeah. The one, so if we go to Explore, this one right here is the video transfer. So that's where it's a light colored wood panel, elegantly slides behind the TV.
So if you had you could do general presets for the videos too, and then refine those further.
Yep, exactly.
Well, I'm excited.
Yeah, no, this was a very exciting new piece of new functionality that just came out. But again, like the ability to have vehicles be animated off a still image, like very powerful to do. So
Okay.
I personally thought this was really cool based off the hand sketch.
Oh yeah.
Like have, and again, we can even keep further refining that.
I definitely think we'll have to have a part 2 of this here soon then.
Yeah.
See what else
No,
is there.
yeah, exactly.
Agree.
Again, we go over Helix, Morphus, and Glyph, but
Yeah, I mean, those are very powerful tools for once you get the idea ready to help you actually get the thing ready to be built. Get the actual thing to be built in real life. These are the tools to help get the ideas going, the concepts down, to be able to go get the project to be able to go to build it, and then use those ones with Enscape to help you visualize the model all the way throughout the design process, and Glyph, Helix, and Morphus to aid you throughout your journey of creating the design.
There you go. All right, I think that was a good last line there. So thank you again, Josh. As Debbie said, amazing presentation. So we look forward to having you back.
Yeah, absolutely. Let me know anytime. Always
Yep.
good seeing you guys.
Bye.
So,
Yep. Bye, everybody.
bye.